For me, music is the magical language, is a portal to go through and get in this different state of mind where I experience a lot of deep wisdom, deep feelings. Everything that I make is cyclical. The birth of day and night, the cyclical nature of our existence. Because everything that is outer can also be found in ourselves. You really need to eliminate all the noise to become quiet, and then this inner voice will tell you clearly what you are here for. It's a dance between free will and destiny. Sometimes your mind will have a clear vision, that's free will. But if destiny wants a different way, maybe you need to be open enough to compromise or not go into that direction. And that's the dance.
Hello. So today we are speaking with Faber from SOWULO. I know that you are releasing a new album just in a few days.
Yeah.
So can we start from talking about that album?
Let's do that. Amazing. So the album is gonna come out on the 29th of August and it's called Niht, and that means night in Anglo-Saxon. And if people already know my music and are familiar with the concept albums that I make, everything that I make is cyclical. So everything is about the birth of day, and night, but also seasons, so also spring, summer, autumn and winter. And so everything is about the sun and the cyclical nature on this planet, the cyclical nature of our existence, because everything that is outer is can also be found in ourselves. And I felt like after 12 years of SOWULO, I came at the end of a cycle. So this album went into darkness and went into the night. And on a symbolic level, night means enclosure, but also the place where you sleep and regenerate. But it also means death. So it is quite a deep and personal album. I would say like every album of mine is deeply personal, but then I try to make it really universal for the human, because everybody is dealing with the same stuff in their life. Maybe in different periods, maybe it has a different color, but everybody is dealing with the same. So now death and regeneration was a big thing in my life, and it became really literal because I was already making the music for this night album, and of course the moon and the cyclical nature of the moon within the night was really important. But then my father died, so death really became a big deal in my life during writing this album. And then also my stepfather died within a period of 3 months. And I was in the room on both times when they passed away. It was really beautiful to be there. It was so weird that I was writing this album about night and the death itself, and I had this really close encounter with death. So then I was almost finishing my album, and so I had a couple of songs left to make. So I really took that energy, my encounter, so close encounter with death, and I created some songs with that. So it's about night as the darkness or the stillness or the momentum in time where you take a rest. You could also ask yourself, where am I when I'm asleep? Where do I regenerate, and why do I regenerate when I sleep? But it's during nighttime. But I also see that it's also death. You can say, in my opinion, that when you die, you go to a similar place as when you're asleep. and you will regenerate and maybe rebirth again, like you do in the morning. So these are the main pillars of the upcoming album.
Yeah, and I know it has to do something with moon cycle. Can you elaborate a little bit how it's incorporated into the album structure?
Yeah. So, of course, the moon has all these phases. And you start with a dark moon or a new moon. So, basically, the opening track is called The New Moon. And then after 2-3 tracks that are more about death in a way and the darkness, then we come back to the moon again, and then we're at the half moon, and then we do a couple of songs more, and then you go to full moon, and then of course we will descend again until the new moon or the dark moon again. It makes the structure of the album basically, the moon positions, the phases of the moon. Those songs were written at the very beginning of creating this concept. Were like pillars. Like I have to go through the darkness to that chapter, and then something about darkness again, and then I have to come there. So it gave me like a real structure. And about the meaning of the phases of the moon, of course, a lot of hippies wrote about it in the early 60s. I've read it all, and I really took that concept, like that way of thinking, like the growing light through the development of going to the full moon and descent again. And for me, it has the same quality as springtime. Springtime is the growing sun. Then you've got the full sun in the summer, and then of course in autumn it slowly vanishes again. And the same happens during nighttime because of the moon. So that is really important. All these songs about the moon are telling that story. And I also saw the darkness or the nothingness can also be seen as your subconscious. And if you want to go into deep and you want to go into the night within yourself, it will be getting really dark, and it will be difficult to see. So I wrote a song about night vision. There was a beautiful Anglo-Saxon word for night vision, Niht, so the eyes of the night, night eyes. And because it's really important, if you do spiritual work, and you have to go deep within yourself, and you will get into a deep darkness where you can't really see, because we're not there a lot. So you need to adjust. So I saw the subconscious as the night, as the nothingness, as the darkness. So I saw also, like, what if the moon is inside this subconsciousness? That will be your light source within your subconsciousness. So I saw it as a consciousness, taking your consciousness with you as a source of light within your subconsciousness, and have a look in what the darkness or the night within yourself has to tell you.
Yeah, I think it's really important to talk about this, about going through darkness, because our entire civilization now is like we are having some routine, we are having some hard times, but people usually try to escape it and just like blindfold themselves. I've been to pop festivals, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sometimes good artists play on pop festivals, so you have to survive the entire day of disco music or pop music, and
Yeah.
I see how people are basically getting like some escape with alcohol and just
Oh, yeah.
beats, and Basically, it looks like they're just oblivious to the world. And what I like about this scene and your work, that you are talking about the kind of not to get disconnected and kind of handle things. So just since you start talking about it, we all have dark times in life. Young people, they're a bit happier because they're young, and as you grow older, I'm like 46 now, so you encounter more and more difficult situations around you, and obviously the world politics also goes pretty dark.
Yeah.
And so can you like summarize what you think, how we should handle the darkness, how we like encounter something like that, and it's not something that you can, you know, just manage.
Yeah.
It's like something that could be bigger than you, that you cannot handle it easily. So what we should do?
So to start with, you're basically saying something that I call light addiction. So people are really addicted to light in a lot of levels. So let's start easily with to explain what light addiction is. If you meet somebody, you will ask, especially in Dutch, but also in the other languages, you will ask them, everything good? And then the other person needs to say, yes, everything good. Yeah, how are you? Ah, good. So it needs to be light. If somebody asks, we're not asking, well, in English it is, how are you? In Dutch and many different languages, you will ask, everything all right? But you should ask, like, how are you? And then the answer needs to be not light, but truthfully. So if you're not okay, people would should answer it with, I'm not fine, this is happening, and it's really painful or difficult, without any drama. Because of course we should not make drama in our lives when it's already a hard time. So we should not make it bigger than it is, but we should be truthfully always for ourselves, but also in communication with each other, because communication with each other forms also the inner communication. So I think we should go for a straightforward, really honest answer in simple questions in life, in our society. But also another example is we are almost like afraid of the darkness, because if somebody answers, oh, I'm not feeling all right, then it's like, oh, maybe I should not should have asked this question, or maybe I'm step out of the conversation even. But also when it becomes dark outside in the evening, we go inside and we put the lights on. We're never in darkness. And you even see now in big cities, the light will never switch off. Big cities have permanently light. During daylight, you have the light of the sun. During nighttime, you've got all these lights going on, and they will never switch off. That's so weird, that's so crazy, because that is the same thing. Of course it looks differently, but it's the same thing. We're addicted to light, and everywhere we go we should have light. People think that, and they're afraid of being in the darkness. But we should really turn it around and just acknowledge that we're animals, maybe a bit smart, but I don't think we're that smart actually. But we've got a brain structure that is pretty awesome. But we do stupid stuff with it. But we're just animals living in nature, and we're so far from nature that we're even afraid of darkness and death, and also afraid of hard times in life, and that's all the same. And I think we should step into the darkness and so literally put put out the light at nighttime and just be in the darkness. Your eyes will function perfectly, and you will have a different experience. But also, when the darkness comes in a difficult period in your life, step into it consciously. It's there, so don't ignore it, and don't try to pacify yourself and try to get into the light very quickly. Just step into the darkness.
Yeah, in Finnish there is a word for it. It's called surutyö.
Oh yeah, I don't know it.
Sadness work of sadness.
Okay, yeah, great. I should check it out, because it's not like getting into drama mode. It's just being clean and truthfully to yourself and whatever is presenting to you in your life, and just deal with it with an honest way. And you will see that the darkness is not that dark. And you can even say, use the words of small death. So a small death is something that is happening to you and your ego feels like, I'm dying at the moment. This is so horrible, I can't survive this. But if you breathe with it, if you just stay conscious and just step into the darkness, you will definitely see that you will not die, and just life will create better times, and you will be rebirthed again. So really go into dark periods in life consciously.
Yeah, just like I have two questions.
Great.
Following up. So first of all, I mean, sometimes situation is so hard that person simply cannot handle it, and you know, sometimes we can just do that work and come out of mourning or other tragedy, or sometimes maybe it's too hard. So what to do if it's like really crushing you and there is no exit, like for a while?
Like, it's really interesting. There's no exit. Exactly, that is the point. Don't try to get out of it. That's a really difficult thing. But if you really go into that modus, not trying getting out of the darkness as quick as possible, but just deal with it step by step, it will be like a journey. And of course, it's really easy to say these things when you're in a comfortable situation, but it really works when you're also not in a comfortable situation. If you're dealing with a lot of pain, in what kind of quality, like physical pain or mentally pain, just stay with it and stay focused and acknowledge it's there, and try to deal with it step by step. So the first step would be like, be conscious about it, so that you don't get swollen up by it, and then try to acknowledge that you're still alive. Although you're suffering, you're still alive. You're not dead yet. You're still there. And then try to work with it. So, for example, when you're grieving, try to work with your grief. Try not to escape it. Try to go through it. Maybe even see it as a walk in the darkness. Maybe it's an awful walk. Maybe the forest in the night is very scaring and it's really painful, but just see it as a walk and keep on walking day by day, and try to see the beauty of the forest in the darkness, and not get swollen up by all this fear and pain. And then you will see that eventually it will get color. It will not be black and white. It will have some colors, like your eyes are adapting to the darkness, and then you can finally some structures and see some colors again, and maybe you're gonna stay there forever, but you have to surrender and say like, maybe I'm gonna stay here forever in this suffering, so I'm gonna make the best of it, and I would say personally, in the end you will always get to a point of death, like the real death in your life, and then all the suffering will evolve, or you will go to a higher level, and then everything is okay. Then you will be peaceful, like you're in a deep sleep. So never be afraid, and always go deep into it.
Yeah, and should we handle that alone? Because, like as you said before, we have to talk the truth, which sort of meaning. And I think, well, we had other interview with Jonas recently in the same park, so from Nebala, and he mentioned something that I find like related to this, is that power of the community. He values the fact that community is around people in such a way. So, and I was wondering, like, do you think the same? Should we walk alone in the darkness, or should we like be open about it and get the kind of help from others, support?
Yeah, like the community is really important, but it has its limitations, and that's fine too. Like the community can help you not to be in despair, or like I'm laughing because I'm thinking about the Lord of the Rings. Like what is the Hobbit saying? Like I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you. Yeah. It's basically like that. Let's stick to the theme. And the suffering is the key, the ring barrier, right? You're gonna be alone. Nobody is carrying it for you. You're suffering. You cannot give it to anybody. So you will eventually have to do everything by yourself. And I mean like taking one step after another. But during your journey, you can commune with other people. They can give you words of kindness, can give you love, and words of wisdom, and that will all be like energy or fuel for your journey to continue. So I think that is really important. And of course, sometimes you learn like a really deep and value lesson. The first thing that it comes up to mind is smudging yourself. If somebody told me way back years ago how to smudge myself, that was a really important thing for me to learn. But of course I didn't need anybody to smudge me. I could do it myself. But the teaching was really valuable, receiving that wisdom. But eventually I smudged myself and did the suffering also myself, right? So I think community is really important, but it is your path and you do the walking.
Yeah, good answer, thank you so much. Because I think it's important just to add that, because people who watch that interview, like they might get an idea that okay, I must suffer alone, and so just to make it sure that it's important to be open and to get support. It's not prohibited.
Try to see it as a journey, and on your journey you will always encounter a lot of other people and trees and everything is alive in this journey. So everything you come along, just have a conversation with it, and you get so wise. Yeah. So you never walk alone, but you walk alone in a step by step phase, and you have to do that yourself.
I think it kind of really adds perspective to what you do. Like, and I meant maybe to switch topic a little bit. I'd like you to maybe tell a little bit how your project started and how it's connected to spirituality and what spiritual things are bound into SOWULO, And generally, like, what was the history of starting this project and arriving at this point?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I started in 2012 making the first album that was released in 2013. Back then, music was always my magical portal. So for me, music is the magical language, is a portal to go through and get in this different state of mind where I experience a lot of deep wisdom, deep feelings, and so music is really important for me. And in the beginning, so in 2012, I started celebrating the pagan year feasts, really being conscious about what every feast is meaning and try to really celebrate it and see it in nature, but also see it within yourself. And I had a difficulty to select music that was really fit for those evenings. Of course, I put on some traditional folk music from Scandinavia, and in those years also a lot of Wardruna and Garmana, and so there were some different bands that I really liked to accompany myself with, or the people which were attending these pagan year feasts, but it was not completely fully correct. So then I had this idea, like, I have to create an album that is about the pagan year feast and really go deep into it. So I always have the feeling like if I think something is missing, I have to create it myself. So that is how the first album really started out. Like, okay, this pagan year feasts are really important for me. I really want to go deep into them, and I really want to have music for it, so I have to create it myself and go really deep into the subject. So that is how the first concept album was created. And the second album is basically a remake of the first album, but with different instruments, way more folky instruments like Irish bouzouki, nickel harpa, the Celtic harp, and the first album, the very first, the debut album, was with piano, violin, and flutes. So I changed the energy of the music, and I added some tracks on it as well. And now I'm talking about the Soul album. A lot of people are listening still to that album, and it's from 2016, so it's almost 10 years old now. And after that, another 3 years went by, and I made the Mon album. And back then I was struggling with becoming a mature man, and also struggling with being a father. And of course those two things were really, I couldn't see that separately. They were one and the same thing. So I was looking for a way to initiate myself as an adult human being, a mature man, because I was growing up, getting older and older. But I felt like I'm missing this initiation process. And like in the old days, when the community was really important, and you had a wise shaman in your village, you could go there, or you could have a celebration with the community to celebrate your coming of age and having a passage ritual. So I was searching for something similar within myself, and with the Mon album I did that, and I did it my way, and that was acknowledging that the seasons, the 4 seasons, the cyclical nature was also living in myself, and I just had to change seasons, going from spring to summer. And I was at the time reading a lot about the archetypes. So I took 4 archetypes from Jung, and it was the lover, the warrior, the magician, and the king. And to make it fit into my own space of mind, I related them to the seasons, and then went really deep into the seasons and the archetypes, and asking them if they could teach me stuff to get to the next cycle. So the whole Mon album is basically an exploration of that concept and having a conversation with the 4 archetypes, and I put that into song. So there's some magician songs on there, really going into wisdom and magical journeying, like trance journeying. And also the warrior tracks are like the berserker tracks, teaching me something about sacred rage, fighting your not being a soldier, but like really being a warrior, meaning a soldier would get an order and just do it. Also, if they don't like it, they will just do it. But you really have to pick your battles and be a true spiritual warrior. And the lover is, of course, like taking care of your love energy and keep that clean as possible for the world, for the people around you, but especially for the person that you're in love with. And also the king is really important, because the king is the caretaker. It is not the ego king like we know nowadays. It's not about me, but it's about taking care of your kingdom, your inner kingdom, but also your outer kingdom, your surroundings, your people, and being a true king serves the people with everything in its might. So that is the Mon album. And after that, the Woordis album came. That's 3 years ahead, so 2022. And that was all about destiny, because my life was really going into a complete different direction than I thought I was going. So then I was like feeling I need to have a deep conversation with fate, with what's the different word? Oh well, it will come to me. But that's the Woordis album, really talking about doom and faith and what do I need to do in this life? What do I have to bring in this life? What is the story I need to tell? So that's the Woordis album, and now we're going to the Niht period, the Niht album.
Right. Very interesting topic about fate. We know that in mythology there are like norns, and in various probably teachings and religions we have understanding of fate and or karma or whatever, like
Exactly.
basically that predestined thing.
Yeah, destiny was the word I was looking for.
Either you get punished if you don't do it, or either you cannot evade it. So fatalism.
Yeah.
And I know you talk about it. So I really love your perspective on this, because, yeah, on one hand, we are supposed to be free. We are not supposed to like accept just whatever happens around us. Like if I'm living in a society, I think it's important to mix modern society into it, because we are not living in some kind of like detached situation, right? So we have our surroundings, our expectations, our culture, our government, our job. They expect us to do things. On the other hand, there is things that we are not we want to do, like, and we might try to find the ways to do it against bending those kind of pressure from outside. On the other hand, there is fate, which might or might not exist. How do we deal with all that?
Exactly. Well, my way was to have a conversation with destiny, The
Like how?
entity of destiny. How do you do it? Like, try and start talking with the person and say, "Hi, I'm this and that. I'm so old and I live here and there," and try to start to have a conversation like you would do with any other person. Like if you meet somebody, you're not gonna tell your life story right away. Maybe, but that's not likely. You will introduce yourself first, and then have maybe see like, oh, this was a nice meeting. You know I'm here now, and I know you're there now, so maybe we'll see each other in a couple of days, and then have a meeting again and again and again, and the conversation will take longer and longer and longer. I would recommend to also do that with destiny.
But how? Like, okay, I'm like addressing my destiny, right?
Yeah.
Hello, I'm here, and this
Yeah.
point I have this situation. How the destiny would answer?
Exactly. Like first you have to get in a little bit of shape, but you can do that with the same thing, having a conversation with destiny, but getting into shape, into going deeper within yourself and exploring and going into a magical mindset. So the first step would be finding your way of stepping through the portal and getting connected with something else than other humans, or yeah. So maybe a tree, or a hill, or a rock, or you can have conversations with everything. And now we're of course talking about animism. Animism is recognizing that everything we see, everything we can touch, is alive in one way or not or another, and thus you can have a conversation with it. Maybe not a human conversation, like you will receive words, but you can still have a conversation with it. And you just have to start with it. Start doing doing it, and then you will develop a way that really fits to you personally. Of course, it won't be a great success the first time you do it, but that's with everything you do in life. If you expect to buy a nickel harpa or a guitar and play it right away, you're insane. It will not happen. You will have to put hours in it until you're initiated in the guitar playing. And that's also getting in contact with different entities. But anyway, you can do that with destiny as well. You can do it with the gods, for example. Whatever god you like to admire, you can tap into that energy and have some sort of conversation with it. I'm really recommending trying to practice that, and to everybody. You can speak out loud or whisper, or just use your inner voice. And you can use words, because our mind is really full of words. So you can of course use words, but use maybe your inner voice. And after a while, you can even drop the words, and you can still have a conversation with entities. And now the second part of the question, basically how to deal with it, how to deal with your own destiny. I think in modern day society, a lot of blockages are there to give shape to your destiny. We all think that we have to work and earn a lot of money, and we all think that we need to be on social media, for example. We all like it's all pacifiers, it's all time consuming, and I'm not saying that it should not be there, but it's taking it's taking over everything. It's taking over all your time. But if you come in a phase in your life that is more quiet, maybe you can create it yourself. For me as a person, that was the moment that I quit my job as a physiotherapist. And then you create this space. And this space is also like the night. It's also the nothingness. You really need space to grow, to grow something new. Because if everything is full, nothing can grow. So you need emptiness, and within this emptiness, you can discover, be quiet, become still, and this quiet inner voice will come up. It will go automatically. It will come up, and it will say clearly, but really soft, what you need to be doing in your life. And of course, all the noise needs to be out. Otherwise, you will not hear it. And you will just keep on working for this boss who really thinks the work is really important to do, and keep on struggling. But you really need to eliminate all the noise to become quiet, and then this inner voice will tell you clearly what you are here for. And I would say that is the first automatic encounter with destiny. And then start having these conversations with it and go into deep understanding of what you're here for. And also, like fate and free will, I think it's basically the same. But let's keep it simple. It's a dance between free will and destiny or fate. And sometimes your mind will have a clear vision or clear idea. I want to go that way. In the future, I want to go in that direction. That's free will, and you can try to journey towards that direction. But if destiny wants to have a different route, a different way, a different direction, maybe you need to be open enough to compromise or not go into that direction, but maybe the different direction. And that's the dance. Sometimes you don't know, is it destiny or is it just me making it up? It's a dance, and then you maybe go in turns a bit, but you will figure out what direction eventually is really the point that you're wanted to go.
But like destiny, does it listen to us? Does it listen to our free will? Can we like just suggest, okay, like it's going like this direction, but I really crave for something else. I'm not happy here. I'm not happy where I'm going with destiny. I'm not content with it. I'm against it completely.
Yeah. Like I really think in this animism way. So I really think you can have a conversation with your destiny, and that it will speak back to you, maybe not in words, but on different levels. And yes, sometimes we think we want to go that way, but most of the times our brain is like so complex. But let's say our brain is a machine, but we're not really working well with it. We're exploiting it. We're making, I would say, slaves from ourselves. And also thinking like, I want to go there so desperately with a grim determination. That is always basically the wrong direction. If it needs a lot of force, a lot of effort, and you're struggling, you're in the mud, it's not the right direction. Try to go a different way. And maybe you will go around the mud, and eventually come to this point that you had in mind. But when you're struggling, you already know that it's not the right direction that you're taking.
Going a little bit to the musical side,
Yeah.
what kind of instruments do you employ in SOWULO? And also, like, maybe you tell about some special instruments that you play.
I really like historical instruments because I'm a history nerd. To start with, I really like the sound of the nickel harpa. So the nickel harpa is really dear to me, really important for me to write compositions with. So my nickel harpa is giving a lot of songs to me. And also the Irish bouzouki, like a guitar kind of instrument, but with this nice sound, this medieval sound. It also brought me a lot of songs. And I've got the Carnix, that's a replica of a Celtic war horn, a ceremonial horn. It's approximately 2 meters high. It's made of bronze and copper, and it has a face of a wild boar. And it's from the Celtic culture, so it's approximately from 60 after Christ. And it has this amazing sound, a magical sound to it. It's not like a surprise that it is used in a ceremonial way in history. And so that's really important as a sound, as a vibration, as an energy. And the harp is really important because the first instrument that I ever played was a piano. And harp and piano are really, really similar. So, so of course, like sometimes I make compositions on the piano and then I rewrite them for Chloe, the harpist of SOWULO. And she does a fantastic job of playing those parts on the harp. Really nice sound to it, and of course, like shamanic war drums are really like the heartbeat of it all. So those are really important as well. And then you really have to know that I'm a music freak. I like a lot of different music, a lot of classical music that I listen to, but I also like more complex metal. A great example would be Tool. So I like changes and rhythmic craziness and polyrhythmic stuff. So that's really like the heartbeat of the whole composition. And then I really like classical music and modern film music scores. So I have got this string section that I just really love. I think they are the bridge between the historical instruments and the medieval instruments and the modern sound. It's not too modern. It's not an electric guitar. It's not a normal guitar. It's not something really modern, but the sound is modern enough to create this big sound that everybody craves nowadays, because we're just how do you say it, spoiled. But I really like the fatness of a string section, so I include them as well. And then I have to translate it into a live production. So when we are complete with the live musicians, we're with 9 people in total. So there's a lot to see and a lot to listen to.
Yeah, I'm very looking forward to your gig
Great.
today. Yeah, I love Carnixes. It's
Cool,
like
yeah.
The horns, especially traditional horns and horn-like things. They have that eerie sound, or like it's like very epic.
Yeah.
And it's kind of evoking something just by sounding it. So I really love to hear Carnix in your tracks.
Then you're in for a treat because I've got a Carnix solo going on in the set list, because yeah, the horn sounds are really atmospheric, but I like it so much that I have got this special place within the set list that everybody is gonna go off stage or sit down, and I'm just gonna play and let the Carnics do the talking. Yeah, because it's such a magical instrument.
Yeah, and speaking about vibes and sounds, I know you use Old English.
Yeah.
So how did you choose this particular language? Why the sound of it is like important?
Yeah, the sound is really important because when I start working with Anglo-Saxon, I was in search of a magical language, and I mean with that a language that is not modern, so that my cognition, my brain would not be distracted by the language, but I wanted to put magical concepts into words, and I was searching for the language of ancestors, because in ritual work and spiritual work, ancestors are really important. So basically I was searching for the oldest language I could work with roots in the Netherlands, and that's Old Frisian. But Old Frisians were so pagan that they didn't have a writing system. They had the runes, and they made inscriptions in weapons and helmets and bone and stone, but they didn't make complete sentences. So a professor in Frisia told me, you would never be able to make complete songs with Old Frisian. But what is really related to Old Frisian is Anglo-Saxon, and those guys were Christians pretty early, so they translated everything. So there are so many words in Old English, in Anglo-Saxon, and of course we call it Anglo-Saxon because the Angles, the Saxons, so basically Denmark, North Germany and the Netherlands all immigrated, or not all, but a lot of people immigrated to England. So the language they took with them. So that is why Old Frisian and Anglo-Saxon is so related to each other. It even uses the same runes as a writing system. So there I had my magical language. So I went really deep into it and started on the Mon album for the first time singing, and therefore also using my magical language, the Saxon language and Anglo-Saxon. And fortunately I had a friend of mine who's a linguist, so I did my very best on the Mon album to write in Anglo-Saxon, and I just sent it over to her. And then she corrected it, and we did that back and forward until we had that done on the Mon album. And 3 years later, the Woerdes album, I had a bonus since then, because nowadays I write the lyrics and maybe send it over to this friend of mine, but then I send it to the University of Leiden. And there's a professor who's teaching Old English, Anglo-Saxon, on the university, and he takes like 4 students, and they sit down and correct my lyrics and do a back and forward until I can put it on the music until it fits. So I'm really blessed with that collaboration.
The question about the recent music video. So for the new album you have that Soul on Money.
Yeah.
Right.
The new single, Soul on Money. Yeah.
Yeah. And what is the symbolism that went into that music video? It's like pretty laconic, I would say. There is that huge mask on the singer, and there are you always. So can you tell a little bit the meaning of the visuals?
Yeah, Soul on Money. So the new single that is already released with the music video is all about the sun and the moon. So in Scandinavian mythology, you've got the brother and sister, the sun and the moon. The moon is the brother, and the sun is the sister, and they're really beautiful, and they ride through the skies in their carriages with horses in front of them, and they ride through the sky because they are chased by two wolves, Skoll and Hati. And these mythological wolves are trying to catch them and bite them to death, eat them, swallow them. So they're being chased eternally. That is why we've got the cyclical nature of day and night going on, and seeing the sun and the moon in the sky. And at close to Ragnarok, the end of times, these mythological wolves catch them and they bite them to death. And their light spills like blood, and then we don't have light anymore, or almost none light anymore. And I was working with that mythology, that saga, that story, as a lyric and as a concept for this album. And then I could clearly see that the death of my father and stepfather was basically also death catched up on them, took them away, and their light is not shining on me anymore. So that's, for me personally, what Soul Mani is about. And you asked about the mask, right?
Yeah, and like the concept of the visual side of the...
Yeah, the visual side on it. Like, if we stick to Soul Mani, in the beginning you see gold light, and there is where we sing about the sun, and that she's being chased. And then you get this hardcore piece, almost like metal music, without any electric guitars, etc. And that piece, then everything becomes red, because we're basically singing the wolf is biting the sun until she dies, and her light spills like blood for the last time. So that's why the red light is coming out, because the blood light is pouring on us. And then we switch over to the blue light, and of course that's the story about Mani, the moon. And again, we follow the mythology and say, like, the moon is being hunted at, and then it becomes red again, because also his light, his blood is spilled on us. So that's what the music video is about. And also we have a second music video out, second single, the very first one, Asterfon, meaning to die in Anglo-Saxon. That was shot in nature, because nature was way more important, and we wanted to shift from daylight until the darkness, because we basically wanted to get out of the light. We wanted to get invited by death or darkness to step into the darkness within yourself. And now I'm gonna talk about the mask, because Mickey was seeing this mask and she was like, you probably won't approve if I wear that on stage, right? And I was like, well, it's not too much. It's completely made of natural material, and to me it looks like a night butterfly, a moth, and that really fits, because on this album I basically saw Nikki more as the queen of the night, or maybe even death, and me having a conversation with her. And in the music video, she dressed up with this beautiful mask as a night butterfly, is the personification of death and night. And she's inviting me to step into the cave, and I follow her into this cave. And then we come out again and it's night and we're in the darkness, and then we're together. and she's teaching. So the mask, you will see it on the live show as well for the coming year or years, I would say, because it tells the story of death, and the Niht is on stage with us.
And I recall in some interviews you mentioned it's like you perform some ritual on the music video. Is it correct?
Yeah, and especially the live songs. But maybe you're referring to my fire walk.
Yeah.
So in Asterfan, in the middle part, I really felt like I want to do a ritual where you die in a way, but not in a dramatic way, but in a more beautiful way. So let's continue about like me wanting to put dying in a ritualistic way in the music video, and I didn't want to make it dramatic, but it needed to be having an impact, like more inspirational impact. So for me, the fire walk, if you ever done that, you will stand before this fiery embers and you will feel pretty impressed by it. It's pretty, let's say, it's not the perfect word, but let's say it's pretty scary to walk over the fire embers. Your ego will say, oh, I'm not gonna make it, I will burn my feet, I will have this small death. So overcoming this fear of walking over the fires is like a taste of overcoming the fear of death itself. So I really just went for it and tried to ignore the camera and just did my thing and walked over the fire. I did that a couple of times before, so there was nothing new about it, but still you can clearly see that that it has my full attention, and I really hope that it's inspiring for people and they can do a fire walk themselves in a safe way.
Just to make sure that nobody jumps in fire right away, what is a safe way?
Well, maybe for the first time, do it with somebody that already did it before. You've got courses to do it, and I would recommend that as a first time, but not courses where they're like, yeah, do it, come on. You really need to do it in quiet, in a soft environment. You need to be completely focused without any noise or distraction, and really connect with the fire. And then when you feel the time is right, then you can easily walk over it. But indeed, like, don't mess around with it, because yeah, the fire is real.
So in one interview you said, like, my music is like teaching. There is something you know, something you studied or experienced, and you put it in music. So just to close the interview, what is the teaching, what is the message of the music that you're trying to convey this way?
So the overall teaching of my music is become conscious of your cyclical nature. First of all, see the cyclical nature of our existence in the outer world. See the day and the night, see the 4 seasons, and see how time shifts, persons, and then go deep within yourself and see all these outer phenomena within yourself, and ask them, what are they teaching you? What are they telling you? And when you really go deep into that, you will become a really wise and mature human being.
Right. Thank you so much for this interview. Good luck with your gig on Midgardsblot.
Thank you so much.
With your tour and with everything else.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.